Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the From Three podcast. As always, I'm Matt Morris, joined by Alex Poole and Logan Hanson. We got a great show for you today, and we're going to dive right in with Bilas, who we talked to earlier today. All right, we're here with former Duke Blue Devil and current ESPN college basketball analyst Bilas. Jay, thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh, thanks for having me. Good to be with you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great to have you on. And you were in Auburn this past weekend for the Auburn-Alabama game. Obviously, we saw the Crimson Tide come out with another huge win. Just, is this the year we see them going into the Final Four finally for that breakthrough that they've been needing as a program?
Best chance they've had in a few years. I mean, NATO's had a great team a few years ago that Herb Jones was the best player, but they missed some free throws in the second half toward overtime with UCLA. And I thought they were a Final Four team that year, at least Final Four caliber team. This year, they may be the best team. They've got tremendous talent across the board and really good depth. And I think they're scoring over half their points from their freshman class, which is 5-star. And a couple of those freshmen are really starting to blossom. They've got the best freshman in the country, I think, in Brandon Miller. So they're legit. They're the real thing.
They definitely are the real thing, Jay. And, you got another great game coming up. Kansas hosting Baylor at Allen Fieldhouse. Kansas and Baylor seem like the two favorites to win the Big 12, but do you think the field has a better chance? Is there another team in the Big 12 that you think can win that conference?
Well, there are a bunch of good teams in the league. It's the best league. It's really a league that doesn't have a bottom.
Sure.
So I'm not sure yet who the best team in that league is. But that really speaks to the overall quality of the Big 12. Every game, it seems like I think I was telling Bill Self this. I probably told more people than that, but this is the first year I can remember where it seems like every game I do, one team is coming in desperate and angry, and it is not easy to play against desperate and angry all the time. And that's a desperate and angry league. Kansas has already had a 3-game losing streak, and has to play Kentucky when they've lost 3 in a row, and they're looking at maybe they lose the first time under Bill Self, they lose 4 in a row, and then I went back there, and they're in a similar situation. They go on the road, get beat, come back, and I mean it's a constant 15-round fight for every team in the league. But Kansas is starting to emerge a little bit. It's just they're not the perfectly constructed team. They don't have the interior depth.
Yep.
But their bench is starting to perform at a higher level. And Ernest Uday and Joseph Yesufu have had some really good games of late. So if those guys can continue that and they don't have a dip when they have to go to the bench, I like the way Kansas plays. It's just they don't have a big guy to throw it into like they used to that gets an angle in the post, moves you up the lane, and all of a sudden they're getting a layup out of it. They're not able to do that this year.
Yeah, definitely understand. Kansas is obviously a strong program, and I mean the Big 12 is crazy deep this year, as it always seems to be. So definitely a good choice there. And looking at the tournament, obviously March coming up, we see the tournament every year have a Cinderella that makes a run. Is there a team that you're hoping will make it into the field that could perhaps be that Cinderella run team?
Yeah, there are a few of them, maybe even more than a few. I think everybody remembers a few years ago Oral Roberts,
Yep.
and they're good again. But they don't. The last time they made a run in the tournament, they had Max Asmus and Kevin O'Banner, who's now playing at Texas Tech. But now they just have Max Asmus, which as a senior he can score 30 in any given game, and the type of player you can ride in the tournament, and he can put a team on its back. I think Liberty, if they get in, will be a really hard team to play against because of the style that they play. It's almost a Virginia type style, and they've got a great guard in Darius McGee that doesn't get anywhere near the credit he deserves because he's just not on television as much. If he were, I think he'd be mentioned with the very best guards in the country. Pat Kelsey has a terrific team at Charleston.
Yep.
They shoot a ton of threes. Unfortunately for them, they lost a game recently, fell out of the top 25, and I think unless they win their tournament, Given the schedule that those teams have to play, it's much harder to get into the tournament. So I wouldn't feel comfortable if they don't win their conference automatic qualifier or automatic bid, excuse me, that they're going to get in. And then North Texas is really good. They got a kid named Tyler Perry. They're legit. They're hard to play against, and they're certainly hard to beat. But the real Cinderella stories are the ones where you kind of don't see it coming. Like I didn't see St. Peter's coming, and anybody that says they did is lying, because even their own league, the coaches in their own league. I mean, I was getting text messages going, "We beat them twice." Like, what is this? Stuff like that. Nobody saw that coming.
Nobody did, but it was definitely fun, and it's one of the best parts about March Madness. Jay, you do this 94 feet interview, and it's always fun. The last one you did was current Auburn Tiger, Suni Lee, and former Olympic gold medalist. Do you have an interview that stands out to you, one that you really enjoyed, that you kind of look back on and think that was a really good one?
Yeah, the ones that are different, it turns out you wind up thinking about a little bit more often. You do so many of them with coaches and players that people know, but the ones that are different. So there are probably two of them. I'd say, Tom Izzo, I don't know how the idea came up, but we did a 94 feet on snowshoes in the football stadium, and Tom would not wear a coat. So, he was out there in a short sleeve shirt, and he was killing me over. I wore a long sleeve shirt, and he was calling me a wimp. And then the most famous one, not famous one, but the most unique would probably be Red Panda. I did one with Red Panda on her unicycle when we were at Virginia Tech, and both her and Suni Lee were the only ones I ever did where the entire crew came out of the truck to get a picture with them, so you could see what the crew really values.
Oh, wow. I mean, Red Panda, I love watching her perform. She is fantastic. And yeah, like Izzo, long sleeve.
That sounds like something Izzo would do.
Such a big difference. I know. That's such a thick shirt, right?
I'm surprised Izzo didn't make me shovel snow. Like, we'll do 94 feet shoveling snow, but he probably thought I'd have a heart attack, and then,
Yeah, make you sprint in the snowshoes or something. Definitely could see him do that. So some fans of yours might not realize that you're still a practicing attorney after getting your law degree at Duke. How did a Duke top-ranked basketball player get interested in law?
I don't know that I was interested in law as much as I was encouraged by my parents to go to law school, because they thought it would be a great education. And one of the selling points for my father, who didn't have neither one of my parents had the opportunity to go to college, but he was like, one of the great things about a law degree is you don't have to be a lawyer if you don't want to. It's just a really beneficial degree, and I think they were concerned about whether I could make a living without one. But it was a great education, and I met a ton of good people that are great people that are really close friends today, and I'm really grateful that I went. I didn't anticipate practicing law or practicing law for as long as I did. I was probably voted least likely to remain with the firm, and 30 years later, I'm still with my law firm.
Hey, proving them wrong. I like it. I like it. Well, Jay, thank you so much for coming on. It was great talking with you. And as always, have fun. We're going to enjoy watching you at Allen Fieldhouse this weekend.
Thank you, guys. It'll be great to be there. It's my favorite place to go.
It really is one of the best. Well, that was great talking with Jay. A lot of good insight. The Izzo stuff was my favorite. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to dive into handing out some hardware. We got hardware to give out. Alex, let's start with you. What's your hardware for this week?
I'm giving my big shot to the Las Vegas Aces, because they basically created a super team, but now they're under investigation for messing with the salary cap. So I feel like that is a good one. Like, if you build your super team and then just get in trouble later for it.
Hey, Davis's dad said it best. Just win. Just win, baby.
Just win. Definitely.
And that's what they did.
Yeah, for sure. I'll go with my brick to start off, and I'm going to go with the officiating, particularly in the Duke Virginia game. I mean, the ending there, controversial ending, the no foul call. I mean, you got to get that right in a big game. Duke is almost bubble team. I think they're probably going to make the tournament, but huge marquee win over a team that is top of the ACC that pretty much got stolen from a bad call by the refs. I mean, you hate to see games end that way. I know we had a controversial call in the Super Bowl the other day, so it's just never like to see that.
The refs are never in the news for good reasons. You just would never have a good thing to say about the refs. Okay, I will go with my slam dunk. And it's going to go off of what we talked about with Jay Bilas as far as Alabama basketball looking amazing right now. And they are the number one team in the nation for the first time since 2002-2003 season. So shout out Alabama. Like Jay Bilas said, this probably is their best chance to make it to the Final Four.
Oh, nice.
Definitely a good shot for sure.
So I'm going to go second with my slam dunk. I'm giving it to South Carolina after basically blowing out LSU, giving them the first loss. And South Carolina is now 25-0, and I love to see it. The game was, it was neck and neck, but after a time, South Carolina just took off, and love to see it. It was a great game.
They are so dominant. They've really become that the dominant team in college basketball right now. It's awesome to see. It's fun.
The UConn after UConn, even though UConn's still there, Very good, though. I'm going to go with slam dunk, too. I'm going to go double down on my Northwestern Wildcats. I know I talked about them at length in the 24 seconds last week. Was not necessarily expecting them to come out and beat Purdue, but they did. Definitely the marquee win they kind of needed to solidify their entry into March Madness. I think that pretty much stamps them in. Like I said, it's only been I think this will be the third time in the tournament for them all time. So great time in Chicago for the Wildcats. Great win. Definitely an exciting time for sure.
They're always good for a amazing win at some point. There's a lot of upsets. I love it. I'm going to go with my brick. And my brick is the Memphis Grizzlies. They've been talking a lot. Really confident, really cocky, but if you're going to be that way, you got to back it up. And they are 3-7 right now in their last 10 games. And John Moran, I'm pretty sure, doubled down recently. It was just like, yeah, I still feel that way. Like, you got to go up against KD now. Kyrie's with the Mavericks. The Lakers got better at the deadline. Just play. You got to get there first, and then you can talk all that smack.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks was in the headlines for all the wrong reasons too recently. I mean, it's,
always.
Always.
So I'm going to go with my brick, and I'm giving my brick to anyone who paid the $92,000 to go to LeBron's just a historical game. But then we discussed this earlier. You're in those seats, but you're recording on your phone instead of just enjoying the moment. Like, how do you pay $92,000 for those seats? And you're just like, hey, I'm just going to record this because you can always get that footage later in life. But they really fumbled the ball, literally.
It's the cloud. It's the social media. You got to keep up with the Joneses. You got to show off. That's why.
The best 92,000 Snapchat story you're ever going to get. That's what that is.
True. It's true. Not the best.
Moving on, we got to shoot our shot. We're going to put 24 seconds on the clock. Alex, go right ahead.
Oh, man. So I'm shooting my shot because of these tweets. The NBA and the NFL are scripted tweets. They make me feel like a bad person for laughing at them, but they're just so funny. I recently saw one. They had one of my brother. It was terrible, but it was very enjoyable. So it gets it going. It gets the season more interesting. They had a couple of them for the Super Bowl, but I really love the NBA ones because they're just now starting the NBA ones. But I appreciate the humor, a lot of dark humor, but it's a great time. Keep them going. Keep them going.
It's great, and I love that the players are getting involved in it too. Like they're coming in after games and being like, "Oh, I completely whiffed on that because it was in the script." Like I'm just following the script, guys.
Yeah, like I wish I would have seen that script.
Was it KD? I think KD had said something. Somebody said something recently.
There have been so many, so many. Like I wish I would have known that script when I was playing. I think there was one that was like Tom Brady's last touchdown. Whoever he threw it against, he was like, "Oh, I wish I had that. But for my 24 seconds, I got to shout out the Missouri Tigers, Mizzou, Dennis Gates. They have been impressive. They had the game winner over Tennessee this past weekend. Just huge win for them, but they've had numerous wins this season. You look at Illinois, Arkansas, and Kentucky were all ranked when they beat them. Iowa is still ranked. They beat them. They're not in the top 25 yet, but expect them to be dangerous come March Madness for sure.
Absolutely. It's going to be exciting. Mizzou is a good choice right there. And my 24 seconds, I'm going to give a shout out to the Denver Nuggets for making one of the sneaky, probably one of the better buyout market moves, getting Reggie Jackson as their backup point guard. This is a team that is obviously still the favorite, even with KD going to the Suns. I think adding a solid backup point guard like that is great. I'm excited to see the Nuggets moving forward, and they're really going to be hard to beat with Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. But it's
a lot of competitive West teams. But like I said, I don't know. Bones Highland probably shouldn't have been traded. I like him offensively. I know he was kind of the bench guy, but they got nothing for him, and he's a young rook.
Yeah.
I thought he looked good. But
well, hopefully he can flourish in his new home. So it's been fun. Send the memes, more memes if we can. Those are great. Yeah. And as always, this has been the From 3 podcast with me, Matt Morris, Alex Poole, and Logan Hanson.
Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out our other videos, and don't forget to smack that subscribe button down below while you're at it. Also, for more great and original content, head right over to bvmsports.com.